Hey everybody, welcome to our video of our Arkham card list today, where today we're going to be talking about 5 trap cards that if you fall for, you're going to have a very, very bad time.
Trap cards are cards that you might look at initially and be like, this looks pretty good, but then you play with it and it's not.
Yep. Yeah. Also of note, we're looking at this from a multiplayer, specifically, like we commonly play 3-player, but we feel like these can extend to the majority of the play styles that will, the player counts as well. So, without further ado, our first number 5 trap card is On Your Own. So, this is did we draw it?
I fell for this one. So, like, you see it, you're like, this is sweet. It goes really well with Dark Horse, where you can, like, not have resources and then still play cool cards. But sometimes you don't draw it. And also, you can't play allies. Both those suck.
Yeah.
There's a new version coming out that is permanent, and that seems a lot better because then you don't have to actually draw it, but it's really tough playing that deck and like having all these sweet events in your hand that you just can't play because you don't have any money, because if you do, you'll lose your Dark Horse, and you don't want that either.
Yeah, I think it should have been like, I don't think there's a reason that this card should exist, rather than to...
Well, like it turns out that the cost of not including allies, or like taking up your ally slot, is much greater than I believe anticipated.
I feel like that was actually like a little bit of just a flavor throw on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I think there was like, I just don't know. I just feel like this thing, it's so specific that like it kind of, it's like Dark Horse, right? Like you can live without drawing Dark Horse for a bit because you're producing resources.
Yeah.
But as soon as you have Dark Horse in play, you don't want to produce resources, and now you're like, well, I can't play my Lucky, right? Like I can't keep the money up from Lucky, right?
Yeah.
Or then you're like, the turn, you're like, you know what? I'll gain 1 resource because I feel like I'm going to need it this turn. And then you draw like an enemy and you're like, oh no, now I have to somehow use this 1 resource, right?
Yep.
It being permanent is
A huge boon.
huge boon. And I think the card is like, I think the permanent version is like great. I think that'll be a really cool build around card.
Yeah, this one is just too much like mulligan for it. If you don't see it, well then, tough shit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Number 4, First Aid. Who wants to talk about this one first?
The upgrade version is actually good.
Yes.
This is just like, this isn't just First Aid. This is like a little category of cards that also includes like level 0 Clarity of Mind, for example, that I think particularly affects new players because they're the ones who, like, this is some of your first exposure to cards is in the core set. Both those cards are in the core set. And you're going to look at these and be like, wow, I take a lot of damage. I wish I could not take damage because not taking damage is good. This basically does that by taking damage away. But it's like really, really inefficient at it.
Yeah, because it's
It
action
costs
to
so
play.
many actions to do anything with this card.
And then
It's a trap that you see actually a lot of different card games where people find that like gaining health or whatever feels good because you're like, well, it's not losing, so it must be winning. But it doesn't actually get you any closer to winning. It just keeps you from losing, and the game will beat you down eventually.
I think a big thing that you should learn when you start playing a game like this is that it's better to prevent damage than remove damage. So you want to be a bit more like like reactive to how you deal with damage. So like look at this compared to like Ward of Protection. One action can stop one thing from Ward of Protection can stop all the damage that would come from this.
Yeah.
So like you look at this and you think, yeah, exactly that. Like gaining life is good, they can't kill me. But if you just stop them from hurting you, which is other cards do better, you won't.
Yeah, or even if you look at like playing something like Guard Dog, you spend 1 action on it, it eats 4 damage.
Yeah,
and does damage
3
back.
damage in 1 horror, and it does damage back. Right.
This also just costs so much to play.
Yes.
Like it costs 2, and then an action to play it, and then you have to.
And you have to trade the card for it, and then an action before it even does something.
Yeah. It also only commits for a brain, like. Bleh.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about too. Like you look at it and you're like, all right, this is just it's very weak. Like
Yeah, the upgraded version becomes much better because of like increased efficiency and like additional applications because you can heal ally assets controlled by their investigators as well.
what's the
What's this
science key?
It also gets 1 of each.
Yeah.
On
Yes.
the grade 1.
Yeah, which immediately just because it's just too slow. You look at it and you think it's good, but we promise you, it's
Yeah.
not.
It's never worth it to trade your entire turn to heal somebody for like Well, almost never.
Yeah, because then
It's
you
almost
do it,
never.
and then the game punches you
Yeah,
again,
the
and
game's like,
you
you
think that
more
you're like,
damage.
thank God I did the healing, but you could have just
You
done.
could have just not done it.
Yeah, you could have done
Like,
something
done
else.
something
And like,
different.
to be real, like the game does
Yeah.
kill you, but like there's a lot of ways to just not
Mm.
die.
No, like, and it goes back to like not dying does not make you win the game any faster.
Yeah, it might sound like it's the opposite of losing, but it's not.
Yes.
It's much worse.
It's just losing slowly.
Number 3, we got alchemical transmutation.
Turn gold in the poop.
So this also kind of follows the similar line of the previous one, where it looks nice because you get a bunch of resources, right? Like when you're starting out emergency cash, you're like, this makes 3 resources. That's pretty sweet for one action. And then this can do that
3 times.
3 times.
That's 9 resources.
In a perfect world. But I think first off, let's start with the easy one. If you draw one of the bad shits, it hurts you, right? So
Getting hurt is bad.
yes. Going back to the don't take actions that hurt you if you can avoid them.
You have to succeed a test by a significant amount in order for this card to actually do anything.
It's okay to do things that hurt you as long as they hurt the game faster.
That's fair. And this doesn't though.
No.
No.
No, the upgraded version has like some increased efficiency to it, and is pretty reasonable if that's exactly the type of deck you want to be.
Yeah.
You're like purple and you care about big money.
Yeah.
This card does actually turn gold into poop though, because like
You
it
take your
takes
actions
things.
and you throw them away.
Yeah, it takes a money, it takes an action, it takes an arcane slot, and it takes more of your actions, and it turns into garbage.
Yeah. Like more often than not,
Once
you're probably
again,
going to
only
get
one
like
green symbol.
in a perfect world, you're probably going to get like 6 resources of this. But just think of what you could have done with anything else, because you really only got 5 resources, and then you take the actions to do all this. So like it really comes down to probably like 4
Yeah,
resources
like
when it's all said and done.
It's like
Yeah.
you're playing an emergency cache, but with extra steps.
Realistically, you took like a
That
damage from
can-
it
that can hurt
too.
you.
instead.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's bad. Don't play it.
Yeah.
But it
What's the
looks
difference between the upgraded one? It's like
The
test
upgraded
0.
one
Costs
costs 0 to
0.
play, and I think you get maximum 4, and the test is brain 0.
Yeah. It also has 4 charges, I believe.
Yeah.
It's like just
Yeah, so
better
it's
in every
it's
way.
Just like,
Yeah.
It's just like the efficiency on the card is increased.
It's actually pretty solid and catchy
Yeah.
because not only can
Yeah.
you reload it and like you
but
can
it's
throw.
also like 4 charges on a battery.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
can
you
like
want for
you can
nothing.
pick it up for the money. You can throw it, charges away for torrents of power, and like a lot of your cards actually cost a lot of
Yeah.
money in that deck.
Yeah.
The upgraded version of this card is pretty okay. This base one though, it's just not quite there.
Gold to poop.
Number 2, we got if it bleeds.
So think about it. How many monsters do you see in the course of a game? Of those monster enemies, how many of them actually deal more than 1 horror to you?
Not monsters like bad things, but like monster
they
subtype.
have- Exactly right.
It's very tricky.
That just got me. I wasn't even looking at it just when you kill an enemy. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to heal 2 horror. Congratulations.
Yeah, not-
But now it's a monster as well?
If it was any enemy, it might be okay
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
because it
it's
gets
any
every person in your location.
That's
not
there's
awful.
a lot of them.
I would feel pretty good about right now in like Carcosa if it was. I mean, like not good, but like I'd be okay with it maybe in like Carcosa if it was any enemy, but monsters is like.
Yeah. Yeah, like monster
Alright.
enemies are not as prevalent as you might first first assume, and you have to have this in your hand, and you have to be the person who kills it, and it has to do at least 2 horror, I think, for this to be worth it.
I feel like this card should have just healed 2 horror from everyone in the location, just flat.
Yeah.
Because I think this is just
Yeah, like you never really see enemies with bigger horror than that, where you're like, we're actually ever gonna live a turn against this.
yeah, exactly. I feel like the idea of
Yeah.
and like it also requires you. It's like here's my plan, guys. Don't worry. I'm gonna kill this monster, which the blue class can do. But like things can just go wrong, and then you're like, don't worry, you're okay. You're not gonna die. And then it's like, I drew the red shit. Our plans
We're all
like
dead.
You're
yeah.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it really is the monster tag that
Cats,
like
yeah.
that is the trap part of
uh,
this because
Yeah.
like the rest of the card is actually like not totally unreasonable, but then you're like killing monsters, like you assume it's an enemy, or like you're like this whole game's about fighting monsters. I do that all the time. There must
Yeah.
be a ton of them, and then
There
there's not.
kind of actually isn't.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other part of this that is like a little rough is that you have to be the one who defeats the monster. So you can't be playing this in like an off blue support class or anything like that. You have to be the one who kills it.
Carol for. Oh no. Yeah, it's I mean, it got me. Like this got me. I didn't notice the monster thing. I've never looked at this card and
And meet your
Well, yeah,
location,
it was
dynamite
just
blast.
an
Don't
enemy.
worry,
Yeah.
guys.
Like this card would be pretty good.
Yeah.
This card would be pretty good. There's a lot of enemies who deal like 1 horror and healing one horror off of everybody at your location almost unconditionally because it's a blue card would not be so bad. But monster enemies,
Bleh.
they don't exist when you need them to.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up next?
Our number one is Hemispheric Map.
It's tricky.
Yeah, this card looks good. Didn't you get caught by this?
I paid to put this in my deck.
Well, your current location
And
is
paid to
connected
play
to
it
at
too,
least.
and you're like, "Urgh."
So it's at least 2 other locations, and you get.
Yeah.
So you have to be connected to 2 other locations, which does happen commonly.
Yeah,
To get one brain
part-
and one
that part
book.
happens sometimes.
And then you get connected to at least 4 locations to get an additional brain and book, which will like never happen.
Yeah, that bottom line is basically flavor text.
Yeah.
There's like some very rare occasions where that will happen.
Like the central location, like in
Yeah.
Arkham.
Yeah, or like occasionally in like the depths to be off or whatever.
Yeah,
you-
but even then, like
But-
I think it's
Yeah.
so rare to have
you gotta
that
be
happen.
standing in a very specific place, and it's the only world you should ever include this card in your deck is the one where you want the +1 brain and book off the top part, because you can get that mostly.
But even then, like the game you can just like walk to the location and then be like,
You can be like,
It's
check
pretty-
out my
it's pretty
sick camera.
yeah,
There's
yeah, like
yeah, right. Like there's better ways to get that bonus. So don't buy.
And I
this.
think a big thing too is why this is the number one. I mean, I agree. Because when I saw it too, when it was spoiled, I thought this card's gonna be pretty sweet. Like +2 brain and +2 book,
That's a
you're
lot of
unkillable,
stats.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stat.
And
You
then
just
I
never
saw-
actually get it.
Then I saw Bryn play it, and every time he was like, times he was like, I got +1/+1. Then other times like nothing. No, this
Yeah.
card's just here taking
Yep.
up space. There's
So
just,
it's just eating my accessory slot. That's all it did.
yeah,
And 3 experience.
Yeah.
yes,
Play
and 3
3
experience. Yeah,
Sick.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of encounters where you're trying to proceed through the map in like a linear fashion. So like you got like 2 in the middle where you can take it, but you don't get it at the end, and you don't get it at the beginning.
and usually the end is when the
Yeah,
things
it's
get
just,
the craziest.
Even the art's a trap. None of the locations you ever explore that big.
It's true. That if that counts as connected, every location's connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a little few too many hoops to jump through for a bonus that's not worth 3 XP.
And I hate hoops. All right,
See.
and now we have one little special final trap that we wanted to just talk about today: snare trap.
It's a trap. It's also not that good.
Not good enough, not bad enough to make our list, but it's a trap. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Oh, comment down below. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us?
Have you fallen for any of these traps?
Yeah, what traps have you fallen for? We've fallen for these. Like we've got.
Yeah, that was like the
If,
big criteria for this list. Is one of us has fallen for it.
Yeah.
If you tell me that I'm out of here as a trap because you never want to resign, Travis will come to your house and call you.
Yeah,
out
they'll
on
mail me. I'm the
fraud or
smallest
something.
person. I cost the least to mail.
Yeah, if there's a
So-
big box outside your door after commenting, don't open it. Well, actually, do open it. Make
Yeah,
sure he's
yeah.
alive, and then
Like,
run away.
yeah, and then send me back,
Yeah,
please.
it's just, oh no, Travis is dead. Thanks for watching, everybody.